Today on Florida Sportsman Best Boat, we're looking at 3 different outboard manufacturers to see what motors they offer in the different horsepower ranges and how to choose the best outboard engine for your boat. To get the best performance out of your new boat, you need to match the outboard motor not only to the hull, but also to the mission that will be required of it. Advancements in technology and manufacturing processes have led to outboard engines that are lighter in weight and more fuel efficient than engines built in the past. The combination of the right boat, powered by the best outboard for its intended purpose, will give you more enjoyable days on the water. Some key considerations to look for in choosing the right outboard are: engine weight. Some boats actually do better with a smaller outboard engine than its max rating, especially where a shallow draft is a concern. Max horsepower rating. Hull design, weight, and payload all will affect the performance of your boat. Simply choosing the size of your engine by the maximum allowed capacity may not be the best choice. Single engine versus twin engine. Today's outboards are so reliable that needing twin engines to ensure you get home is a thing of the past. It really will depend on the distance you travel, the weight of your hull, and the amount of gear you want to carry as to whether or not 2 engines are better than 1. Distance to servicing center. It might make better sense to choose an outboard based on who can service it for you and how far you'll need to trailer your boat to have any service work done. Join our hosts Dave East and Rick Riles as they speak with manufacturer representatives from Yamaha, BRP, and Suzuki about which motors they build that are best suited for 4 different categories of boats: offshore, inshore, flats, and bass.
Welcome to this episode of Best Boat. I'm Dave East, boating editor of Florida Sportsman Magazine.
And I'm Rick Riles, program director of Florida Sportsman Radio Network.
Hopefully in this season we've helped you pick your best boat. We've shown you a lot of different boats, a lot of categories and classes so that you can find the right one to fit your lifestyle. But guess what? You're not done yet. Now you have to fit your power. What are you doing?
Dude, you don't remember those days? Wrapping the cord around the flywheel? And then there was, come on, baby. Come on, baby. You don't remember those days? Those were the good old days.
You're much older than I, so no. But anyone now, the new outboards, you turn the key and they start, just like your car. It's so much better than the outboards of old.
The only thing I can equate it to, and I've told you this before, you don't flip a light switch and wonder if the light's gonna come on. You know, in my whole lifetime, I've turned that key going, oh, please, you know, and had it start. Now I hop in, crank up the motor. It's just a given. It's gonna run.
Well, now that you've got your best boat picked out, now you got to pick out your best engine. And every engine's going to have a little bit different mission, just like the boats have a different mission. You're not necessarily going to want to put the maximum amount of horsepower just because that transom plate says it can hold a 300. That boat might do better with a 200.
Let me tell you what you better get out of your mind. Everybody says, well, I'm going to buy a smaller engine and it'll burn less gas. No, it won't. Okay, if you match the boat to the motor, It'll burn less gas. Buying a smaller motor doesn't equate to less gas. It just equates to a smaller motor.
There's other things to look at too. You really need to look at your closest servicing dealer. I get asked questions all the time. What outboard should I buy? And you know what? It's really hard because all of them that are in the market today, the majors anyway, they're super reliable, they're super fuel efficient, they've matched each other's technology. The difference is, if you've got one manufacturer who's a block away, or one dealer who's a block away, and you have a different dealer with a different brand of outboard and he's 60 miles away, you might want to think about the closest guy. Well, in today's show, we've got 3 of the major players. We have Suzuki, we have Evinrude, and we have Yamaha. I guarantee you one of these manufacturers will have your best outboard to fit your best boat.
Don't go away. We'll be right back with more Florida Sportsman Best Boat. This segment brought to you by Garmin. Fight your fish, not your fish finder.
Panoptics, I mean, the thing that I think Garmin's going to give me a huge advantage of is actually seeing things real time. What I see in my screen is what I'm casting at. What we always do with traditional sonar is we're looking straight down. And so basically then, as we move forward, we're seeing what's in the past. Well, now actually what you're looking at is what you can throw at and fish. I think it's even going to get better. I mean, they're making a push forward in the marine bass fishing world that's really second to none.
Welcome back to Florida Sportsman Best Boat. This week, we'll be featuring outboard engines for offshore, inshore, flats, and bass boats.
All right, I'm here with Dave Mueller with Yamaha. And Dave, you know, I've known you for a long time. What is actually your job title there at Yamaha?
For the purposes of what we're doing here today, let's call it Product Information Manager for Yamaha Marine. I'm also the propeller guy, I'm also the maintenance guy, but today we'll go with product information.
Right, all I know is you're my go-to guy. Every time I need anything for Yamaha, you're my first phone call. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about Yamaha, because they've been around for a long time. They build an awesome array of outboard engines, and they're really every application from a John boat all the way up to a big offshore center console. But if you're looking at, let's say, a technical pole and skiff, or a flats boat, let's look at those two models, or those two categories of boats. Let's talk about the engines that Yamaha builds that are specific.
Well, the two things you want to pay most attention to in that particular category is weight and power. You have to have power to get on top of the water, and you obviously don't want a lot of weight because you don't want a lot of stern drag on acceleration. And things like our F70, which is the lightest 70 horse out there, whether it's a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke, that's a nice little motor. Single overhead cam, very compact, gets out of the hole quick. These boats are so lightweight, they use materials, they're basically on plane to start with, so you don't need a whole lot of power to get them up and get them running. So yeah, you can get away with that on these type boats.
Now, when the technical pole and skiff just doesn't have quite enough room, having a boat that can take a little bit rougher water, carry more people, and can get the speed, now maybe somebody wants to move into a flats boat. And I know you guys have a whole series of SHO motors, which, tell me what SHO stands for, because I think it's like super high output.
That is exactly what it stands for. And what it is the pinnacle of performance in each one of those horsepower categories. Now for flats boats, you're going to be looking at something like the 115. The SHO goes all the way from 115 to 250. But in this size and style of boat, the 115 is a perfect combination.
Most of them you see out there have 150s, and I've run this boat before with the 150s and it performs very, very well. With the 115 SHO, I'm not sure I can tell the difference between the 115 or if I had a 150 on the back.
We get a lot of comments from boaters and boat manufacturers about the fact that this 115 SHO bridges the gap between a standard 115 and a 150. So that kind of tells you what kind of performance you're in for with this particular engine. Dave, one of the other things that makes this SHO 115 so appealing in this size and class of boat is the fuel economy. We talked about the power. The power is awesome. But if you look at this gauge right here, the kind of fuel economy that we're getting, even when we're running on the pins, is amazing.
Well, the other two categories of boats that we're going to cover will be bay boats and offshore boats.
Okay.
Rick's back at the marina in the 277 Kobe. It's got a pair of your big outboards on the back.
Nice.
So I'm going to run you back now. You can get with Rick and talk about the motors that you build specific for the bay boat and for the offshore category.
Sweet, let's do it.
Dave, I know you spent a lot of time with Dave East talking about technical pole and skiffs and flats boats and stuff. I have never seen a boom in the marketplace like we've seen in bay boats. You guys are right in front of it.
There's a reason for that. I mean, the versatility that you get out of bay boats combines the guys that were on the edge with the smaller boats and the offshore boats, gives them everything in one package.
What sizes are we looking at, 18 to 24? What do you got?
You know, that's going to be the realm of the boat builder, but typically you're going to be looking at anything between 150 and 200 horsepower. You're in that 4-cylinder class. When you get up to your 24s, you're looking at something along the lines of a 250, which is a V6. Even the 300 on like a 26, you got to remember that engine is 4.2 liters worth of power, 300 horsepower. It's only 562 pounds. So you're not really giving up just a heck of a lot as far as weight when you get up into those larger horsepower.
What does Yamaha put out that is at home, 30 miles offshore?
Anywhere from the 150 to the 350 V8. We see twin 150s in the 24-25 class. We see the twin 200s like we have on this boat. It's a very popular combination. The 4.2 liter offshore, that's where you start getting into lightweight, 562 pounds, but you also get into digital electronic control, and you can get into the Helmmaster system. A whole lot of different ways you can rig it out. So it's not only about the power you've got on the back, it's what you've got in the cockpit. And you can go all the way up to 350 horsepower. That's pretty stout.
It used to be that in the offshore world, if you were going out of sight of land, you didn't go without twin engines.
Right.
And it's because you wanted to make sure you got back.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
things have advanced so far. That's not the factor it always was. Now everybody assumes that more motors means better performance, means more reliability. That's not really the case, is it?
No, you don't have to worry about the reliability factor anymore with singles. I mean, if you look back at, you used to go to the ramp and pray the boat started, you don't have to worry about that anymore. It's turnkey reliability. So just a single to go out, you're fine.
It is easier today than it's ever been. It's more reliable, it's less hassle. In a lot of cases, it's even less expensive. I think the best time to ever get a good outboard rig and head out fishing is today.
Absolutely, and that's a great point, so let's go ahead and do it.
Don't go away. We'll be right back with more Florida Sportsman Best Boat. This segment brought to you by Bennett Marine, superior by design.
50 years ago, Bennett Marine changed boating forever, inventing the trim tab, getting you on plane faster, improving fuel efficiency and performance, balancing loads. Today, more than 1 million systems later worldwide, boats all sizes. Bennett Innovation, durable and dependable trim tabs and hatch lifters. Your only source for both hydraulic and electric systems. Bennett Trim Tabs, superior by design, legendary service. Enjoy the ride.
Welcome back to Florida Sportsman Best Boat. This week, we'll be featuring outboard engines for offshore, inshore, flats, and bass boats.
I'm here with Jason Ekman. We're at the Ralph Evinrude Test Center. Rick is down on the docks. He's chomping at the bit to get these boats on the water. So let's go down there. You can spend a little time with him. Tell us a little bit more about the whole lineup that Evinrude has.
Let's do it.
Jason, for 3 years now, Dave East and I have tried with the Best Boat TV series to help guys pick the right boat for them. And you know what happens? They decide what boat they want, and here's this little manufacturer's plate here, and it says max horsepower this much. And that's what they tend to pick for their boat. There's a lot more to it than that, isn't there?
There is. What really matters is what you're going to be using the boat for and how you're going to be loading it. You know, what's critical, especially in a category like the flats category, is power to weight ratio. These boats are light to start with. You can't hang a big heavy engine on the back and expect to be able to get out of the hole. You need a lot of low-end torque, and that's where an Evinrude E-Tech really shines, being good power-to-weight ratio and having a lot of low-end torque to get you up on plane.
What size engines do you like for the, say, that 18 to 21 flats class?
I think it starts out with our 75 and our 90. Based on a 3-cylinder, a lot of low-end torque in those engines. Once you start to get up into the 20s and 21s, our 115, it's a V4, really torquey motor. That's what a lot of guys run on a boat that size.
When you get up to a motor much bigger than that, you're really talking a lot about bay boats too, because bay boats are taking the market by storm. Right. Big boat guys are coming down to them because they're so much easier to fish offshore. Small boat guys, of course, are still gravitating up to them. That 20 to 24 foot bay boat market has gotten huge. But Evinrude has always been a big player in the offshore market. What motors are working for you guys in single applications? And let me tell you something important about that. Single applications are a lot different than they used to be. We used to have 2 motors so we could keep one of them running all the time. That's not the issue so much. You get a lot of performance out of a big single anymore, don't you?
Absolutely, and that's where the Evinrude E-Tech G2 is really shining in that market. The single and the twin offshore, where fuel economy is really critical. You know, it's not just about, you know, how much money you're saving at the pump. It's about the range of your boat. If you can get 15% better fuel economy, that's going to get you, you know, that much farther offshore and back with that confidence that you've got enough fuel left in the tank.
Listen, I don't know about freshwater. I use freshwater to wash my reels off like real men do. But now Dave East, my partner, he's a freshwater guy. Let's go back and hop on the boat with Dave, and you can teach him about what he needs for his bass boat.
Sounds good.
All right, Jason, I know Rick well enough to know that he talked all about his saltwater fishing and how he's so great and loves his saltwater. And look, I like saltwater fishing too, I do my share, but I do a lot of bass fishing. I love freshwater. Tell me what VRP has for the bass guys.
Well, the thing about a bass boat, which a lot of people don't realize, is you wouldn't expect such a small, lightweight boat like this to require so much low-end torque to get it up on plane. But because the hull doesn't displace a lot of water, it really needs that low-end torque to pop it up on a plane. And that's where the E-Tech technology, the direct injection, gives you that low-end torque. And especially now with the G2, you know, a 250 HO, nothing's going to accelerate like that engine. And you got to have not only that low end, but the mid-range, you know, to push you over the edge. And of course, in this category, top speed's critical as well. You know, when you're fishing for that big prize money, getting across the lake, getting to that last fishing spot, and be able to make it back in time for the weigh-in, there's a lot of money at stake. And those guys who do it for a living, they really count on the Evinrude E-Tech to get them that prize.
So for your average bass boat that's out there, you think your 250 might be the sweetheart size horsepower?
It really is. You know, you can, the 200 HO high output is still a great motor, but for the guys who are really serious about it, the 250 HO is really the motor to go to. With the bass category, it's not all about power. You know, there are the other things about the engine that really matter. Fuel economy is important. You know, they need to get the range out of their boat. The features such as, you know, power steering and iTrim make the experience all that much better. So you never would have considered to have power steering on a bass boat before. But now that it's integrated into the G2, this is something that guys are really surprised that they're liking on their bass boat. iTrim, you set it and you forget it. The boat trims itself, you don't have to think about it ever again. The experienced guys like it, but it really pays off for the novice boaters.
Well, the iTrim to me is one of the most substantial improvements that you did make, because out of all the boats that are out there, a bass boat, more than any other style hull, they're very, very trim sensitive. You start with the motor all the way down, you trim as you go, you're constantly on that trim switch. And with a boat that you have to do that manually, it's just a lot more work. Right.
Don't go away. We'll be right back with more Florida Sportsman Best Boat. This segment brought to you by Armstrong, celebrating 25 years of creativity and innovation.
Do you have the Armstrong Advantage? In its most basic form, an Armstrong outboard bracket improves the efficiency of your outboard motor. This equates to a faster time to plane and higher top speeds. The list of advantages continue with improved maneuverability, added space, and a quieter ride. Adding a swim platform, accompanied by an Armstrong boarding ladder, will certainly add to your day out on the water. Isn't it time for you to gain the Armstrong Advantage?
When filming for Florida Sportsman Best Boat, the cast and crew stayed at Pirates Cove Resort and Marina in Stuart, Florida. Family owned and operated, featuring 50 renovated rooms with an outstanding restaurant and a full-service 50-slip marina. Welcome back to Florida Sportsman Best Boat. This week, we'll be featuring outboard engines for offshore, inshore, flats, and bass boats.
Okay, we're going to check in with Dean Corbus here with Suzuki Marine. They've got a whole line of engines, so once you've picked your best boat, now you can pick your best engine.
Thanks a lot, Dave, for having me on the show. I appreciate that. And Suzuki makes engines from 2.5 horsepower to 300 horsepower, and our fuel injection runs all the way from 9.9 to 300 horsepower. So have the broadest spectrum of fuel-injected motors.
All right, well, we'll start with the offshore boats. I mean, obviously the 300. I mean, this motor is ridiculous. It's so quiet. I mean, you can't even hear it back here on this boat, and we're standing just a few feet away from the engine. So a pair of these on a big offshore boat would be an awesome power choice.
Oh yeah, we have the 300 and 250, our sister engines. They both have the same 4-liter block. They're select rotation, so that means you don't have to have a counter rotation model and a standard rotation model. Each motor can spin whichever way on the lower unit by simple programming change.
What we're seeing in a lot of the offshore boats, especially the ones that are in, say, the 24 to 27 foot range, a lot of guys are opting for one big single outboard instead of a pair of smaller, like say 150s as opposed to a single 300, because the days of a motor not being reliable enough to get you in, those days are gone. So they don't have to have the maintenance and the expense of a pair of 150s when a big 300 will do the same job.
Yeah, a big 300 works really well. We've tested them both ways, same boat, twin 150s, single 300, and actually the single 300 got a little better gas mileage because you only have one engine running. Then you're going to also have less maintenance because you only have one engine to take care of instead of two.
You've got the 250 and the 300 for the offshore boats. And when you drop down into your bay boat categories, I guess those same motors would follow down and fit the bay boat class perfectly.
Yeah, the bay boat guys, those boats are actually getting larger too, so they can go anywhere from a 115 on a small bay boat all the way up to 300 like this boat.
And they still have the benefit of the lean burn technology and all the benefits of the larger motors, but if you start at 115, then the 200, that new 200 you have is sweet.
Yeah, the new 200 is a 4-cylinder. It gets incredible fuel mileage versus a V6. It also is lighter, so smaller boats that still are rated up to 200 horsepower comes in really nice.
Well, we've got one of the 200s on the Dusky, and I know Rick is just dying to get you on that boat, and y'all going to go through the flats boats and the bass boat industry. So let me transfer you to the other boat, and you can talk a little bit deeper about that 200.
All right, thank you very much.
There's a whole nother group of fish that up until the last 20 years ago had never seen a boat, and that's where these guys are going with these crazy flats boats and technical pulling skiffs today.
Yeah, the pulling skiff today weighs about 200 pounds, sometimes even less.
The whole boat?
Yeah. And they want a motor that's dependable, gets good gas mileage because they don't want to carry much fuel, In fact, we have our 25 and 30 horsepower, brand new last year, has a electronic fuel injection, batteryless. You don't even need a battery anymore.
Without a battery, how on earth do you get electronic fuel injection without a battery?
When you pull the engine over, it turns over 740 degrees, and it charges the coil, which then makes fuel injection work.
Now to the guys on the flats, everything is about how skinny they can plane off, isn't it? I mean, you've got to have a motor light enough to where they can get up in 6-8 inches of water. But a lot of times you want to take 3 people with you or something. You step up to more of a flats boat, you're talking about a little more water you're drawing, but you're also talking about needing a little more motor.
Well, you can move up to a 40, 50, 60 horsepower. That only weighs 229 pounds. That's very light for that size horsepower 4-stroke.
There's a whole lot to like in saltwater from Suzuki, but there's a whole other world of freshwater. There's probably more bass motors sold than there is anything in there.
Well, we do sell some nice bass boat motors, and all of ours are called SS models for super sport. They come in 115 horsepower, 150 horsepower, and 250 horsepower. They're all painted a matte black finish, so it's kind of edgy. The guys really like it.
The thing that I always hear from bass fishermen, they need a hole shot. Is that something you guys deliberately work on, delivering better hole shot on freshwater boats?
Well, the nice thing about Suzuki, we always have usually a lower gear ratio. Therefore, you can swing a bigger propeller, a bigger diameter propeller, a bigger pitch propeller. Really helps you get up on plane.
Bigger diameter propeller generally gives you better hole shot.
Well, yeah, because it has more bite, it's pushing
Right.
more water, but you also have to have the torque. And Suzuki has usually the bigger block to carry that torque.
I see. All right, well, I got to tell you, I don't see an area of the marketplace you guys haven't covered. It seems to me like you've done it very well.
Why, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right, well, hopefully we showed you a little bit about outboards to help you make your decision of getting the best outboard to match your best boat. But what you're going to find hard is if you're trying to make your decision based strictly on performance, it's going to be a tough one.
Dave, the advancements in outboards has been nothing short of incredible. You know what we never heard all day long? Right now it's like turning on the light switch. You turn the key, the motor starts.
Okay, if you want more information on the 3 outboards that you've seen today, or all the boats that we've tested this season of Best Boat, go to our website, floridasportsman.com, go to the boating page, click on the Best Boat link.
Or we'll see you next time with another episode of Florida Sportsman Best Boat.
Be sure to join us again next week for another edition of Florida Sportsman Best Boat. Each month, turn to Florida Sportsman for the best in boating and fishing coverage.